sustainability is sort of well and truly established as the kind of key issue facing consumers, designers, architects.
Sustainability is one of the most complex and confusing subjects that a designer has to tackle.
Are we as a society really embracing the sustainable? No. Are we really facing up to the challenge of what being environmentally aware means? No. Are we really thinking about the ecological impact of what we buy and throw away on a daily basis? No, absolutely not.
Words are really cheap. I can sit here and preach about, thou shalt not consume more than you really need to, yet we all of us do, and we all of us continue to do so.
Personally, I'm against the idea that we should be consuming less, because the history of human society and what's driven it forward is actually man's search for a better quality of life.
I definitely think we should be consuming less as people, but while there is a market for it, designers will go on producing things, and manufacturers will, clients will.
The justification for designing more is more about the justification for altering the things that we're designing and the things that are being consumed.
I'd like to see design taking a leading role in it rather than waiting for legislation.
If we solve one problem with sustainability, there's a whole other load coming behind it. What about global economies? If you're no longer importing and exporting loads of goods, what happens to trade? The issue just has massive ramifications.
The design professions generally haven't been as much up to speed as architects on this.
Architects are leading the way. I think that combination of legislation plus creative design is providing fruits in architecture.
I think it has fundamentally, architecture has a responsibility to sustainability. I mean, you see it in the way that sustainability has become so much of the agenda in education.
Suddenly, I think we've already got a whole new generation of young graduate designers who are really actually going about the business of looking at the role that design will play in the 21st century.
If you go to any college show, the students are steeped in it. They understand it. They're very keen to get on with it.
Creating product that we need, creating product that is about being environmentally aware, sustainable.
So it's actually the older design consultants that are holding us back.
Some designers are reacting in a really positive way, but I think others feel like this is sort of a huge constraint, and that, say, sustainability and the pressure to use energy efficiently are actually holding them back from embracing new ideas.
The use of material is not the problem here. It's the judicious use of material that's important. And I think that obviously if society in general stops buying cheap disposable stuff, that's how they can contribute.
Synthetics really represents our future and represents the way forward. You can constantly upcycle them. The recycling process can actually refine and purify them, make them better than they were before. And I find it fascinating that as a society we've actually sought to devalue probably what can be our most precious resource.
Whether or not materials specifically will be enough to sort of curb environmental issues, I doubt it.
It's a question of people finding out what they can do with those materials and broadcasting their possibilities. It's a communications issue.
We're now reaching a real tipping point where unless designers start to embrace these kind of issues, we won't have a future that needs designing.
The environmental cost is going to affect all of us, so we can't expect it only to fall upon designers to design things that are recycled or recyclable or tread lightly on the earth. And manufacturers have to take a huge responsibility of getting their act together.
I'd like designers and architects to be more optimistic and more ambitious about the role that they can play in changing things.
I think the human race is a positive force, and it's often managed to find ways to adapt to even the most stark circumstances. So I'd like to see that innovation and capital and government can all work together for the common good, and I think that that's ultimately what we've got to be looking at, otherwise we're all doomed.
Sustainability has to be at the core, at the heart of successful design for the 21st century.